It's hard to explain to people about some of the nuances of the UK system, but of course Scotland has self-determination, but of course is a part of the United Kingdom. They will have those elections in the next little while, and supposedly a great friend of Keir, Starmer, was the Scottish Labor Party boss who came out in the past 24 hours and basically said, time for a change. Now, these are the moments that normally sort of begin the snowball effect, but equally, they can also galvanise around people as well. What did that moment say to you? Is that somebody trying to save their ass in London or in Edinburgh?
Well, in Edinburgh, as he's Scotland, Labour thought they'd challenge the Scottish National Party in the Scottish Parliament elections. And by the way, it's not weird. You know, you've got state parliaments all across Australia. Yes. That's exactly what we've got here with Scotland, albeit a slightly bigger degree of separation. And guess what's happened in Scotland? This new upstart party called Reform has come along and is now ahead of... Yeah, he's now ahead of Labour in the polls. So Mr Sarwar is tearing his hair out, and Starmer is even more unpopular in Scotland than he is in England. So Sarwar comes out and says it. We expected the Welsh First Minister to follow suit. She hasn't done so yet. Look, I think, how on earth can Labour fight the Scottish Parliament elections with Keir Starmer in Downing Street and Sarwar in Edinburgh? This is like, gunfight at the OK Corral. One of them has got to go.
What's your expectations about those Scottish elections and Reform? As you say, polling better than Labor, SNP that sort of, ebb and flow but generally stick around for the past 20 years or so. Can you unseat them? Do you get close? What's your expectation? And again, you've always been pretty reasonable in saying, look, polls are good, but votes are different.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have come literally from nowhere in Scotland, and I mean nowhere in Scotland. And I was not a popular figure north of the border 10 years ago, but things have changed. If we could become the official opposition in Scotland, that would be the most incredible result, and I believe it's entirely doable. We've got a leader in Scotland that I've appointed, a man who had a principle, has resigned his seat in the House of Lords to run for us in Scotland. Think about that. He's given up the subsidised lunch and asleep on the benches in the afternoon and a job that he's 95 to run for us. So, well, that's what the House of Lords is.
Correct, please.
So we've got a great guy leading the charge. Yeah. So no. I think things look good, and Labour. And by the way, in Wales, which is really the home of the Labour Party, right back to its founder, Keir Hardie, in the 1890s, where all those constituencies they've held since the end of the Great War in 1918, in Wales, the last Labour poll had them on 10%. Wow. So it's wipeout on May the 7th, whatever happens. It's just a question of whether this utterly useless, dull Prime Minister lasts that long.
Yeah, I mean, I was, sitting up in the middle of the night last night and sort of bouncing around and having a look at all the different live coverages that were happening, including GB News, of course, your television home in the UK. And the Labor line seemed to be, well, we were left such a mess and we're just getting started and remember, it's a 5-year project, all the rest of it. But it's such garbage when you can point to the very reason that you have run, why you've built a party and how a party has grown since they've become. The decisions made by Starmer are burying Starmer, not the mess of what was left for Starmer, correct?
Yeah, I mean, of course he inherited a mess, but I mean, think about this. The small boats crisis, more people have now crossed the English Channel illegally in dinghies under Starmer than any of the previous prime ministers. Wow. Our debt is spiralling just catastrophically out of control. And now we have two-tier policing and two-tier justice where, frankly, you can walk through the streets screaming insults at Jewish people and get away with it. And yet, And yet, if you're a white Anglo-Saxon Brit and you say something nasty on Twitter, you'll probably go to prison. And all of that has happened under this cowardly, weak Prime Minister. So there's no one to blame but himself.
Bloody oath. Now, by the way, follow Nigel on all of the socials, follow Reform as well, because the way he presents, I mean, he's learnt from Turning Point, he's learnt from Trump, but he's giving it that twist of a pint as well. It is amazing to watch the way he's presenting himself, the way that they are surging, and it is just something I hope many copy here as well, mate. Well done to you. I'm loving watching it. In the middle of the night, I'm the one watching those press conferences from the other side of the world. See you, mate. Nigel Farage, they're in London. We'll talk to him again next week.